Hi Hearties, I'm Roxanne. Welcome to my channel, Everything About Hallmark. If you're new here, this is a prediction video which I upload on Sundays, and it has to do with predictions for now with When Calls the Heart, because that's my current obsession. Don't forget to subscribe. I am not listing several different predictions. I'm focusing on one big prediction with all these moving parts. Now, before I get started with the prediction, I want to talk about clues. So as a good viewer, you pay attention to clues. And I saw right away the whole conversation with Rosemary and Elizabeth when Rosemary was saying she didn't feel fulfilled. She needed something more. And then in episode 9, Claire's walking through and serving those at the cafe, and she's, serving Lee, and she talks about how she missed some information, and did he read it in the paper? He's like, we don't have a newspaper. And she's like, my point exactly. I'll show you what I mean right here.
Have a good day.
Thanks. You too. Joseph Canfield is a pastor?
Aren't you head of the search committee?
We've had so many pastors. I think I'm the only one left on the committee.
He and Bill are officiating at Florence and Ned's wedding.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Why am I the last one to find out about these things?
Do you read the newspaper?
We don't have a newspaper.
Then maybe that's why.
So from that clip, I was like, aha, her making that comment to Lee is meaning, I know what she's going to do, Rosemary. She's going to start a newspaper, and that's what happened. So there's always these clues, and I feel like through the whole season, there were clues about season 9 and this big prediction I have of the community changing. I'm not saying it's absolutely going to change, but I feel like the storylines are going to weave around this change. Whoever's coming to the town to change it, whoever's in the town and wants the change, and whoever doesn't want the change. And it starts with a series of different characters and things that were happening. I'm going to go through them and see what you think. But this is my prediction, that they're going to try to change Hope Valley. And I think some of the changes will stick and most of them will not. I do not think in my heart that Hope Valley is going to become this big industrious place. It would just take away from the wonderfulness of the stories, in my opinion. So let's all start off with Mike. Mike has this great idea. We hear rumblings of it, but when I think it was the episode, yes, it was the episode where they're dancing together, he and Fiona at the wedding, and they have this conversation. I'll show it to you right here.
I've been thinking about what you said about constructing a pipeline from an oil derricks to the train station. It's smart.
You don't think it's crazy? I mean, you're the only one I've told.
The capital outlay would be substantial, but the cost could be recouped in no time, by my calculations anyway.
I meant what I said. You've got a mind for business.
Mike, you can do this without me.
So this is when we really know what Mike is up to. He has plans for a pipeline. I mentioned this in my last video because he needs an investor and Fiona wants to invest. And I feel like her investor is going to be one of the big players in what is happening in the town. I don't feel like it's just going to be unnoticed and we're never going to meet them. This man or woman, and I really feel like it's going to be a man, is going to really affect a lot of the storylines. Maybe already this person wanted to buy up stuff in the town before Fiona even asked, because I feel like they've been watching her. She's gone back and forth a few times, and she says in this episode, in this scene right here with Faith, about her fiance, this is what she says.
That happened to me once.
You were engaged?
And we met at the wedding of a mutual friend. We were head over heels for each other at the beginning, but people change. He's the reason I went home. He'd been asking my family about me, and I guess a part of me wanted to see if there was still a connection, but contrary to what my parents may have wished for, nobody can buy my affection.
So that last comment about the fiance was asking her family about her, and then says next that he couldn't buy her love. I'm like, I think he has some money. Maybe that's where the Pinkertons come in. So the Pinkertons, just through history, they are real. Actually, I didn't even realize they still exist in some capacity today. But the Pinkertons tend to be a private agency, they are, but they tend to do a lot of guarding. They were used in the very beginning of the storyline, and it was popular for them to guard companies that had men come in and work in the coal mines, the railroads, whatever. And they're there now. Now, the Pinkertons definitely have something to do with the investor and also with Wyman Walden. Now, Wyman Walden is not a nice guy. You can see that from this clip right here. So he tried to intimidate Fiona, and he's been buying up places along the way for himself. That's how he got involved with Jesse, when he's really supposed to be there looking out and doing investments for his whoever his bosses are. That's the big mystery, and that's that conversation with Bill. And Bill says he's greedy, and here we go.
Well, let me be clear. You're being released because you made good with the Flynns by returning their money.
They're refunding their money. That was a legitimate investment with Jesse Flynn. And when he sees Hope Valley become the boomtown it's bound to be, he'll regret not being part of it.
And I think this Wyman guy is not a nice guy. If you look, the Pinkerton is pointing his finger at him. He's being reprimanded. So I think he can see that he's been doing some underhanded things with his own partners. So he might be the villain, where the true investors that are coming in with the factory are not. But then Bill did make that comment where he said, what makes you think that what makes you think that our town council is going to agree to this?
What makes you so cocksure that our town council is going to allow you and your partners to waltz in and build a factory on the edge of Hope Valley?
So that's where I think the struggle is going to be. Just like when the railroad came and they possibly could have made a major change to the town and it didn't happen, I feel something like this is going to happen. My prediction is this, bottom line. There might be changes, but they're not going to be major. But I feel like the whole process of whether they're going to be major or not is what all of these storylines are going to hinge on. One, I think it's going to affect Nathan, because I think the Pinkertons being there, he made comments about how they get to be rowdy and can be, a bit of a problem. But also, I know for a fact that it's going to affect Nathan, because the actor, Kevin, who plays him, he was in a podcast talking about the writers already contacting him and telling him he's going to have some big wild adventures in the next season. And so I know that involves him. Of course, Fiona somehow is involved because she is financing something major, the pipeline with Mike. And that was something very popular then. They would, during that time, to get that oil from the refinery down to be shipped out and to be shipped safely, they were doing it with the railroad. So that's going to involve him. And then it's even going to involve Lucas, because we're not sure if he sold the building or not, the saloon. And let's say he didn't sell it, but he's still involved because the refinery, the oil is there. So he's going to be involved. And then definitely Bill's going to be involved because he's on the town council. Plus, he always helps with the protection of the town. And then also Elizabeth is going to be affected because the superintendent said to her, your school is going to expand. And she goes, expand? I can fit 12 more people. And she doesn't want to do the regionalization with the valley. And he's like, the projections say there's going to be 100, and she has that confused look on her face.
So the desire to become a part of the Valley School District.
I understand, but as the area begins to grow, as it is already happening,
My
that's
schoolhouse
going
can
to,
accommodate at least another dozen students.
which is well below the 100 or so students we are expecting next year.
How is that possible?
So there's a lot going on that the general public doesn't realize, and definitely Wyman has his hand in it. And I think that even it's going to affect Lee and Rosemary, because Rosemary's going to be investigating. So there's a lot going on. Okay, these are just my predictions. I could be totally off, but I'm really excited because I can't wait to see how this big central thing could happen and bring all of the characters together. Maybe even divide them. Maybe some will be for it and some will be against it. Who knows? Okay, let me know in the comments below what you think. When I make these videos, there's a lot of comments and I love it because it makes me feel connected and we chat. I might even do a video of all of my subscribers' opinions and predictions. I might do that one day. I'm not sure. Now, I have to tell you, I keep saying this all the time. I am so excited for my biggest prediction because I really, really think it's going to come true. And it has to do with Lucas and Allie and Elizabeth and Nathan. But again, that's for a totally different video. So stay tuned. You have a good night.